Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Listen to the words. Listen to what he says. It's very interesting. The way he still to this day is saying Thompson is protecting the university. And I'm telling you, he says university players. Make sure this is up all the way. All right, here we go.
This is calling me right now. I'm going to grab it. Hi, Steve.
Hey, what's up, Ashley?
I'm good. I'm actually just recording a podcast right now. How are you doing?
Hey, I need to let you go. I'm at the corner bar right now.
See, corner bar. She doesn't recognize it at first that it's the corner club. She even says that later on because he says it again. But they're sitting in the middle of the corner club. Like, I'm guessing with like paperwork in their hands or something like that. But they're sitting, him and Christy are at the corner club. Like, I guess this was last night.
She's finally reading some of the stuff that I heard about.
Right, like I thought so too, honestly.
When I see her upset, I get all motivated. I'm just so pissed.
See, motivated for like what? Why did you edit right there? I want to know why you edited that right there.
That I mean, all that stuff. Well, for one, we said give it to us first, and they did. And you guys got it before we did, just like U of I got the murders before we did. I mean,
which stuff?
And what does that mean? The university got the... Did he say murders or news before we did? I can't tell what he says right there. Let me put the captions on.
Us first, and they did. And you guys got it before we did, just like U of I got the murders before we did.
Just like U of I got the murders before we did. So is he saying U of I got to the murderers, or is he actually saying U of I got the murders before we did? Is that like notification? Alert? Is that what that is? Yeah, I don't know. Motivated for what? Because that's another thing that's really confusing, because while he's like sitting here in this interview saying that he's ready to be done with it and he's tired and all this other stuff, he's like, I'm motivated to keep going. Just get on a freaking, make your own channel, come out here and tell us exactly what the frick you actually have on your mind and quit these stupid ass games. It's okay to sit there and be like, something might actually be wrong here, and this is why. It's perfectly fine to ask questions. So I don't know if like deep down inside he feels like he's going to be a failure for like questioning if they have the right guy, like for real, or what's going on, because he keeps on going back to Thompson's protecting the university. Bryan Kohberger ain't got shit to do with U of I. But for some reason, I still question why, out of all of these years, Fry knew before he even got to Moscow not to involve Pullman into this situation. Why? How did he just have that intuition not to do that for the first time in forever? I just wish he would come out and like be straight up instead of this dancing around stuff. Like, it might be because he's scared for some reason, but you've already spoken enough, broski. Like, we're not going to understand what you need to be or what y'all need to maybe be protected from if you're going to keep dancing around everything. If you really have the real questions about what's going on with the university, like you always have, then you need to come out and be serious and straight up. Quit the games.
Which stuff? Wait, which stuff? Because we got all the material after your 3-hour meeting, I think.
Yeah, but the 3-hour meeting was just a question and answer. We just had to talk to him. There was no documents handed over to us.
Okay.
And we don't know. How do you ask for something you don't know exists?
No, you're right. No, I thought you were given all this material, that they went over it all with you. I didn't realize this was you just asking questions and getting some answers, but not getting all the details.
No, we just wanted questions.
So they met with them for 3 hours. But in that 3 hours, they weren't handed any documents, and they didn't see the documents until they loaded up into the website, is what Steve's saying. But you also have to take what Steve does with a grain of salt, like a big one, honestly, because I was really heated watching them walk into that courthouse with no one like attending them, no one helping them get in without being like, you know, all the cameras in their faces. And Olivia made a big deal about it whenever she was doing the interview with Brian Enton before the sentencing, about how they had to walk across from Winco and they didn't have a place to park and all these other things. Well, then the judge is like, the families are needing to be escorted out. So obviously, because we only saw Steve and Christy and the lawyer, we didn't see Olivia walk in the front. She took whatever was the escorted way in. So Steve did all of that for attention. The whole thing during the sentencing was for attention, because he was supposed to be obviously going in through some escorted door, but he chose not to. So we do have to take everything that he does with a huge grain of salt, regardless of who he is, regardless of how you feel, because he plays these games. So that's kind of like one of these other like cry wolf things, like it is apparently with Dylan. Like it's really hard to decipher what's real and what's not because of everything he's already done.
Question that was really related, like we want to see in our final statements, which they confirmed a bunch of stuff that we had wasn't accurate, so we removed a bunch of our stuff out of that.
See, a bunch of stuff that we had wasn't accurate. A bunch of stuff that they were coming out and saying, he already blamed on the state. He said basically that because the state wasn't telling them anything, they were filling in the gaps themselves. And they basically just didn't care if it was wrong or not. They knew it was wrong, basically, because they didn't have any real information. So everything that they have said and done over the past 2.5 years has literally been nothing more than what we out here do with gaps, trying to fill it in with our own opinions, with our own theories. That's all. That's the same thing that they've been doing. But because it's coming from them, it's has more weight. So it became like part of the story. I mean, look what happened whenever they came out with the whole what Hunter Johnson apparently told them thing about Xana's door and Ethan's body blocking the door from being open and them having to call Hunter over to open the door. That was never the story. That was never the story. And instead of Steve taking responsibility for that, he turned it around, blamed it on Christy and Olivia for being involved in who said what and where everything goes, and then changed it to being something about the front door being open. That's not what was being discussed. They took no responsibility for that. And look how long he said that he had proof that Brian's device touched the Wi-Fi. Then he came out right before Dateline and told on Drunk Turkey that that was false. So I don't really know who Steve needs to be mad at more. If he needs to be mad at them for not giving them the information, or he needs to be mad at himself because they, in their own, like, he admitted it himself. He confessed it himself, created all of these things, and now he's mad that none of these things were true in the first place. I mean, it can easily be a mix of both, but that's the reality.
Because I heard Kaylee was stabbed 50 times, but that was actually Xana.
Yeah.
So I took that all out, and then I heard some other things like something about I don't know what it was, but basically it made us all rewrite our statements to take out any things that weren't 100% confirmed.
Yeah.
Some of the searches on his phone weren't confirmed, but then they were like, again, they said anything that was Pennsylvania research.
This is where it's crap.
Our research, and
Pennsylvania research is different than our research. What does that mean? Whatever happened in Pennsylvania was evidence that was collected for the murders in Moscow. Anything that was done in Pennsylvania was done as evidence collection for a crime that took place in Idaho. So anything that was pulled from searches, pulled from the Wi-Fi router, all of those things, that's direct evidence that they would be taking in for Idaho. So this statement doesn't make any sense. Pennsylvania research is different than our research. What does that mean? So if he's going to try to say that there was other investigations in Pennsylvania, that's not true either. I mean, there could be, I guess, maybe, but I doubt it. The one that they did have, JLR, of course, his little buddy, you know, the one who talks shit about his kid forever, and then he takes selfies with him, you know, he sat there and brought up Dana Smithers all over again, even though we already know that there was no connections for that. There was a grand jury about that. He was cleared of that. So this is, I don't know what he means by this stuff. I don't know if he's just like talking to talk or what he actually means here.
They were researching murders related to his activity in Pennsylvania.
The one that's already been proven no connection to. The one.
We weren't privy to that investigation. When we're not privy to the investigation,
there was no connection. We don't need to be privy to it. That's none of your business. That's none of our business. There's no connection there. See how he's not making sense about stuff?
That the FBI were doing. We are who we are, and we didn't see some of these things. So we're not saying they didn't exist. We're just saying we can't confirm them.
See? So this is where he's going to start talking about the searches and stuff like that, because apparently there's like not a lot of proof of stuff that's coming out in the Moscow records. So now he's just basically saying, well, just because it's not there doesn't mean that it's not real. Does it mean that we were lying? I mean, would it all of this be in like the warrants and stuff? I mean, we've only gotten so far, but I'm not seeing where people are like really doubling down on a lot of stuff.
They're saying certain searches and all this stuff. Like I heard an investigator called me and said, yeah, not only did he have searches related to drunk girls, he also had related to gagging to Kaylee, could have basically seemed like he was trying to quiet her. He was trying to silence her, which if he's searching for gag, choke, then in that murder scene, he had drunk girls and choke. He literally, so for a prosecutor to say that they're...
So that's him still trying to like hold on to that stuff because of what Dateline shows. I'll look over here for a minute. The ones that have looked past the documents that we're at right now on the channel, do they have more evidence of other like creepy stuff that he looked at? Like when it comes to search history? Because I don't want to speak completely out of turn if there's stuff out there, but I haven't gone past what we've gone through here on this channel. No, they don't. So he's basically, and I look, I really wanted to give Megan Kelly the benefit of the doubt. All right. I was taking a bath right before getting on here and just like looking through YouTube. And I'm like, holy crap, she has a video about questioning the cops in the case. So I open it and I'm like, I might actually have like a reaction video to do where I can say she's finally asking the right question. She's finally paying attention. Nah, the second that it gets to where she's showing how they're admitting that there's no connection, that they can't prove who the target was, what the target was, they have no answers. She instantly is like, well, why can't it be the Mad Greek? And why can't the target be Maddie? And I'm like, girl, you went the wrong direction that I was hoping that you would go. You went stupid. Instead of asking questions and being like, so what happened to the theories? You're mad that it's not what you've been coming out and pushing. But you've been coming out and pushing that bullshit because you keep wanting to talk to Howard. And Howard's a freaking moron. Him, James Patterson, they all have nothing. They have nothing is correct in anything that they've written. And that's per the cops' own mouths. No one can sit here and say that we are making this up. Brett Payne and the other investigator stood there and said, nothing, 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 and nothing. No one can say that that's a lie. It's right there. So how did we get to this? And how long is it going to take before people stop doing this, before they stop bringing in things into this that are not true, just to hold on to the narrative? Because that's not going to fix anything. I don't see how people can be blind to what's happening here.
There's no sexual motivation at all. We know there's no assault, okay? We know this person was interrupted, literally interrupted. So who knows what his intentions were, but for you to go and say that it wasn't motivated, really...
You can't, for them to say that it wasn't motivated that way means that there was nothing in his search history actually. It means there was nothing that they could find in his mental testing that they did and anything that they did that could prove that. He's not Elliot Rogers. He's not all these things that everyone has tried to make him out to because the proof is there that it's not. I mean, even Bill Thompson, whenever they talked about the all of the psychological testing and stuff, not a psychopath. Nothing was there. They can't say that he was crazy and put him in a loony bin instead of a jail. They can't because he's not crazy. So then what is he? Because y'all tried to say like he was this like crazy psychopath that did all these things because he's a psychopath. But apparently he's not a psychopath. So now what? That's their own mouths. That's them. Not me. That's them.
I insulted so many people that my phone started ringing saying, I can't stand here. I can't stand here and let this prosecutor basically, he's protecting the university at the cost of everyone.
See, why? Why would you say that? If you really believe that Bryan Kohberger, who has shit nothing at all to do with the U of I, is the guy, then why are you sitting here saying that even after we are done with sentencing, that Bill Thompson is still protecting the university? Why are you saying that?
All you guys, all you victims. He's just basically going to protect that university. You know, Payne works for the university now, right?
See how he just said that? Let me slow it down because I forgot that I actually like recorded this kind of like fast. He just said, Payne works for the university. You know, Payne works for the university now, right? I've been saying that for a while. I posted the email.
University now, right?
Go back.
University at the cost of everyone, of all you guys, all you victims. He's just basically going to protect that university. You know, Payne works for the university now, right?
And she cuts it. Why'd you cut it, Ashley? Why did you cut it, Ashley? What did you remove, Ashley? What did you remove, Ashley? Here's the emails. This was sent out to the families. This is how it works. Prosecutor writes an email, sends it over to the victim's advocate. The victim's advocate forwards it over to the family member, and they don't say shit else. They're literally an overpaid middleman. Okay. This was written on Monday, April 28th at 11:02 in the morning, whatever time in Latell County. All right. Good afternoon, which it's the freaking morning. We are writing to inform you that Corporal Brett Payne is leaving the Moscow Police Department and taking a non-law enforcement position at the University of Idaho. As you know, Corporal Payne is one of the state's advisory witnesses for trial, i.e., assists the state throughout the trial. Fortunately, Corporal Payne has made arrangements with the university to still be present for the entirety of the trial as originally planned. Our office is taking steps to deputize him as a prosecutor's investigator so he can maintain his law enforcement status through trial. Now let's read this next part, okay? We are very appreciative to Corporal Payne for staying committed to this case and seeing it through to the finish line. Ready? Y'all probably remember this because most of y'all were here whenever I read this right after the plea hearing on the 2nd. This information is not public, and we appreciate your efforts to not publicize this. They did not want anyone to know that he was no longer going to be working for the police department whenever he was going to be telling the IGG they can sleep with at night bullshit narrative on the stand during trial. And now with Kohberger in jail, Goncalves still believes that Thompson is protecting the university. He says something else here in a second, too.
Real quickly, the notes that we got with all these details, are these just Moscow police notes, but no FBI notes?
She's so stupid. That's exactly what it is.
There's nothing about the FBI.
It's literally the Moscow Police Department website. They literally say in the press release, and he said at the conference, this is only our documentation. For all of the other agencies, you can use these case numbers and get the information via FOIA. She's an idiot. I'm sorry, but come on. It's the same issue I had whenever they were going around and all of these idiot media people were like, oh my God, now that the gag order is lifted, that means you can finally talk to us. No, they were never under the gag order. They were on that other side of the wall, just like everyone else. Even Brian Enton, whenever he was talking to Olivia, was like so shocked that they didn't know anything else. So the whole time y'all just pretended to be paying attention? Because it was all of them, like 17 different networks. It's just amazing. It's just amazing.
And they're privy to. The FBI had a separate investigation that they did not share with them. And the Pennsylvania, they did work with the Pennsylvania. They said more than the FBI.
Yeah.
But they were clear to say that their investigation could have found a lot of things that we are not privy to.
Yeah.
But you are privy to that. You just have to file it. The only people that are obligated to give you information is Idaho. When it comes to the feds, when it comes to Pennsylvania, you have a lawyer, Steve. He knows how to do all this stuff. Like in the book, you told them the reason why you needed Shannon was because you didn't know how to do all these things and fill out all these forms and whatnot. So if Moscow's only responsible for giving you Moscow's information, then go get it. You are privy to it because it's not their case. There's nothing holding it. So go do what everyone else is supposed to do instead of like this. Because yeah, you are.
So, and those images in the Dateline look like somebody taking a picture of his phone directly.
Well,
but that's probably not true, Steve, Mr. IT, with a son in productions. Like, don't you know how that works? It's just a phone with a fake texting app made to look like it's legitimate. Dateline producers don't have the physical evidence that would be like locked up in an evidence room somewhere that would be his real phone.
I can't wait for those to get unsealed. I did want to ask you a quick question, though, because I'm still mystified. Yesterday in the press conference, the police said there's only one murder weapon, and it's the K-bar knife, but then there are blunt force injuries. And I know that you mentioned there's a second weapon. What did they say to you? Because in the press conference, they said, ask the families. What did they say to you about a second weapon?
I don't think that weapon murdered her. And that's the kind of games that these people are playing. It's protect the university play. Protect this.
Protect the university play. Protect the what, Steve? The players? The university players? Like, you mean like the frat athletes? It's the first thing that I thought of. Let's listen to that again. Plus, it's going to replay slow.
These people are playing. It's protect the university play. Protect this stuff. It's protect the university play. It's protect the university play. Protect this stuff.
Protect the university play. The athletes, Steve, the frat athletes, you can come out and tell us. You can come out and tell us what you know, what you're questioning.
He punched her face. He knocked her teeth out. That didn't kill her. So they're playing those kind of games with you guys.
Did he knock her teeth out?
Yeah, her teeth were busted out.
Oh my God.
That's horrible. I knew that like she was disfigured like really, really bad and she had a bunch of like fractures and stuff in her face, but I didn't know like her teeth were knocked out.
God.
Yeah, so maybe that didn't hurt her. So technically it wasn't a weapon.
Right.
But come on. I mean, why are you protecting the monster?
And
why
so
is Idaho protecting the monster?
The blunt injuries that they described in the autopsy, that we think that is him with his hands, literally.
No, I think there's another weapon.
You do?
Yeah, it's rounded with stripes in, is how it was described to us.
Rounded with stripes?
So basically what he's saying is that, okay, this is now him describing the wounds he's claiming was on her mouth a different way than he originally did. So the other day on the other interview, he said it was more like this, like someone had put their hand in her mouth and pressed real hard to keep her quiet. And I said, well, wouldn't she have like bitten down? Like I would have bit a whole, like that chunk would have been gone, broski. So then he's saying it's more like that. So I looked at the K-bar to see, because again, the defense had a piece of paper that was filed that said that they knew that there was a second weapon used on Kaylee. And I said, this is going to be like a weapons expert that's going to know the difference between a whole nother weapon and the opposite side or another portion of the same weapon being used. That's why they're experts. So if that expert is still saying there was a second weapon because of whatever was used to make the blunt force injuries, I'm almost just wondering if it was maybe something that was just picked up randomly in a room and used. Or could it be like just the sheer force of her body, maybe being, and as graphic as it is, maybe as just the blunt force of being pushed like into the wall. You know what I mean? Like if he like was putting her, or somebody was putting her head into the wall constantly to like get her to stop. Maybe that would be like the blunt force and it wouldn't really be a second weapon. But then again, we have an expert claiming that it was an actual weapon. I don't think they would be saying that if it was just like someone's head constantly being like hit into a wall. So I'm guessing that there's like indentions or something like that too, because that's something else that they had said at one point, was that there was like knuckle indentions in like her skull at certain portions. So then some people were questioning, okay, what about brass knuckles being used? But there being an indention with the brass knuckle is still something different than blunt force trauma. So I don't know. Whatever he mentions here, that it was like rounded with stripes. Some people I know are saying like something about a golf club, which is possible. But I also just thought like maybe like the way that it was just like indented right here, it would have shown that whatever was up against her mouth had a curve to it, but then it like just left like the indentions or maybe like a blood bruise of the striping on her mouth. That's basically that's where I was thinking. But that would to me mean that like someone's hand would have had to have been like on the blade. Either on the blade pushing it into her mouth, or like having their hand like on the opposite side of the handle itself and like pushing down. I don't know. That's an odd positioning. I don't know how much you could do like that.
Yeah, it was a rounded object that had stripes, so it bruised her with stripes around her mouth. So she
Yeah.
started making noises, screaming. She woke up. They said she
Okay,
woke up.
Steve, so now you know about the screaming. Like, you've known forever, okay? I've told y'all guys the story forever. He's known forever that Dylan was lying to him about that. But why? We're seeing, like, in the documents, the shift in the lie. I don't know how they're not asking more questions about them girls.
But the blood pooled in a certain way to show that she was sitting up, and he kept punching her in her face and stabbing her in the top of her head.
Jesus Christ, what an animal.
Yeah, this is who they protect. And it's not the officers. It's not the investigators. It's Thompson. Thompson cares more about the university than he cares about the victims.
He keeps going back to Thompson cares about the university. Kohberger has shit to do with the university. What does that have to do with this? He has to know specifics here. He has to know specifics. Why are you sitting at the corner club? I understand that that's like where you, like she last was with Maddie. Okay, like I get like the sentimental thing to it. But are you sitting there hoping that it's like Thirsty Thursday and some college kids are going to come up and start saying stuff to you? Because this was last night. What university players? And like you have to really think about this, okay? The very last like portion of Scott Green's book. I'm probably gonna. No, I'm not buying it. Somebody's gonna have to have it. I just want a picture of the damn page, or maybe it's out there somewhere because I've read like this piece before. They basically he blames idiot over here, Mr. Clean's freaking incompetence and inability because he's such a rookie basically at being a lead detective on the reason why the university felt the need to step in. But then they hire this person that you felt was insufficient. You now hire them. Even after everything that they did in this case didn't lead to anything because they were going a completely different direction and then the feds called and they went squirrel. This is such insanity.
Bill Thompson, the prosecutor.
Yeah, Bill Thompson cares way more about you. And now this has gotten so bad in America that people have contacted us and said, there's laws in other states that says that if you are the campus police, you cannot investigate murders.
And you know what? I am really pissed about that too, Fiat, because he should have said that in the courtroom. I even said, I was like, why didn't Steve stand up? Like as mad as Steve was, where he got up and he turned that podium and he just went off as best he could. I was really hoping he was going to turn and say something to Thompson. So when Steve Jr. went outside and said all that stuff, like, yeah, bravo. But why did you choose not to say that in the courtroom? Was it because you were embarrassed from the other statements? Because that one would have gotten the right kind of applause. I don't know why he chose not to. It was well done.
Because we've seen historically that you're so compromised by this relationship with the university that you...
See? How many times? How many times is he going to mention the university? I really wish he would just stop this dancing.
Will not tell the truth. It's happened because there was some case where there was, I don't want to make little of it, but there were so many different allegations that they said, why didn't you guys do anything? And they're like, well, my employer didn't really want me to. And they're like, your employer.
Now, in the documents we went through last night, there is a portion where the university is going back and trying to get information for an R case. And we're like, why is this in here? Why is this in here? Is the person that they think is responsible for this like somebody that they thought was like a lead? Like what is this for? And now he's over here mentioning this kind of thing. And he's right. The way that they try to like make these relationships, that's not cute. They have these 22-year-old campus cops hanging out with these 20-something-year-old college students. Yeah, I mean, that's probably not smart. So I'm sure that there's like a lot of that. I know that in Kerrville alone, the kind of bullshit that school district covers up when it comes to administration doing stuff with children is disgusting. So it really wouldn't shock me the kind of crap that the university really wants to just like under the rug. I mean, I'm sure that they've had a lot of practice with it. Nothing feels right. None of this feels right.
Like I'm a campus cop. We don't want crime to be in the news, you know. So there's literally laws that I can show you what they shared with me that says if you're a campus cop, you have to go get a state police to verify and do the investigation, because clearly we have a problem when the university is employing you on campus. That creates a relationship where you're just like this town. This town goes from like 8,000 to 10,000 people when they're not enrolled, all the way up to 60,000 people.
See, so basically all I'm hearing is that it had to be somebody that wasn't a part of the university, because the university was going to be scared to lose everyone in that town, which is pretty much what we've always thought. How are we going to sit here and pretend like this is the right way that this is supposed to go, when there's still so many questions? They can't say how they got to him. They can't actually say, like, the IGG, I don't give a shit about. That's not you doing an investigation. That's not how it works. You did not actually get to anything yourself. Y'all are taking the accolades for something that y'all didn't have any hand in. Y'all were told what to do every step of the way, down to the narrative to be told. And that's what really threw me all the way off. This is what I was telling Ariel last night. I was like, you know how they pulled all the crap at the IGG and made it to where they couldn't use it in court. It was a huge issue, the biggest fight the entire time. And then it was taken out and they were told, both of y'all come up with a lie together that Payne can say on the stand, and that'll be how we address this, and it'll just go away. And then the second that the sentencing happening, they came out and thanked the way that IGG works and DNA. And I'm like, excuse me? You literally didn't even want it talked about. You wanted everything about it excluded from everything. And now you're going to come out and be like, oh, this is the reason why we're awesome. What? This whole thing is a show. It's a show.
They live this life cycle of when the university's running and everything's good, we're killing it. All the restaurants are full, all things are coming up. But when everyone goes home for summer, that's a reminder that this is what this town would be without the university. So nobody wants to sit there and fight that this conflict of interest is there. So I think the conflict of interest was
no, Ashley, that's the problem. You're so bought and have no idea how to do anything on your own. You're not understanding what he's telling you. You sit there and you're just you're recording this so that you can get your clicks and your money, but you're not hearing what the hell he's saying. You obviously haven't heard shit anything has been being talked about for the past 3 years with the kinds of questions that you ask. She's probably sitting here thinking about her next shopping trip in her head. She's not paying attention to a damn thing that he's saying. She's not going to touch the university. She's not going to ask questions about what's being covered up and why we have no answers. She doesn't care.
Hey, we just need this case to go away.
Are you, let me ask you, are you going to file a wrongful death suit against anyone?
Last thing I want to be is back in court, to be honest.
I hear you.
My family doesn't want to be back in court. That's not my motivation. I doubt it. The only way I would go that way is if somebody reached out and was just I'll do all the heavy lifting, Steve. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to need you at the very end. And that's it.
So he wants something to happen with all of the bullshit, but he doesn't want to actually do anything about it himself. But he's not going to come out and be honest about what's going on. He's just going to give a little bit of hints here and there and then just expect somebody to do what? See how confusing these people are?
Because I'm just exhausted with it. I'd like to kick the University of Idaho in the ass a little bit. Tell them, just like I told Bryan, that this is the wrong family. We're not going to take this shit, and he's stepping on children.
So the university is the one stepping on you? The university, again, Steve, the university doesn't have shit to do with Bryan Kohberger. He was not a student or a TA at the University of Idaho. So why do you keep on bringing up the university? When are you ever going to come out and be honest about what's happening?
Don't do it in my kid's name. Don't be yelling Kaylee's name out there. If it was my way, I'd never have that piece of shit prosecutor ever say Kaylee's name again. And nothing makes me madder than him saying Kaylee's name.
Well, I hear you.
No,
I completely understand. And my heart absolutely breaks for you and for Christy and the kids.
See, she just wants to say the words that's going to get her the ratings. My heart just breaks for you. You're not listening to him. You're not hearing a word. Not a word.
in everything you've gone through. I hope you're going to get home soon. Are you headed home?
See, she doesn't give a shit what he's
Yeah,
saying.
yeah. We just stopped by here because we'd never been in this building ever. And there was
He's
some,
useless.
we just wanted to be here to just see where Kaylee and Maddie were at that very last part of it. And, yeah, we were here to see it.
This is the Corner Club bar?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, gosh. Are you okay?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just more motivated again, which is, I want to be done. I definitely want to be done. But gosh,
I'm more motivated again, but I want to be done. I'm motivated to do more. The university is covering shit up still, but I don't want to do anything myself. I want somebody to hear me complaining and do it for me, but I don't want to tell you exactly what's going on. Hello. I know he knows there's millions of people across the world asking questions, even more so now that they came out after all this and still said, no, we have no answers. I have no idea. Nope, no clue. Can't answer that either. We don't know. This is the most frustrating part about all of this.
to hear this shit at the very end and then give it to the media, not the families. It's just insulting. And I mean, I have legislators that I'm working with and they'll change laws.
But what are you talking about? We haven't heard anything about any sort of laws being changed. I haven't personally seen anything that they've been posting about laws that they're trying to pass or do or anything like that. There's a name for stuff. Like when you're actually working with legislatures, like there's documentation. There's meetings. Like we see it in Megan Boss's case. Her mom, Jennifer's gone all the way up to the White House when it came to her daughter's case. We see it with Shanquella Robinson's case. Okay, that's not what's happening here. What laws?
So hollow to the fact that why do we have prosecutors that are just this rude, this disgusting? They want the whole freaking
See, why did you just edit that? What did he say?
Accountability, but they played us against each other. They didn't let each parent know what the other one. Karen literally told me if I knew that she was unrecognizable, I wouldn't have agreed to it. And I said, well, why do you think they didn't want you to know?
I don't believe that. He basically just said that Maddie's mom told him that if she would have known about how Kaylee's face was completely unrecognizable, she wouldn't have agreed to whatever. You're trying to sit here and tell me that y'all didn't discuss things together? Y'all's kids have been friends for all these years, and you literally took control of Maddie's narrative and Maddie's story, and you're going to sit here and make me believe that y'all didn't discuss these things? Just because they might have not done, the law breaking when it comes to the medical privacy that you're expecting them to do when it comes to telling everybody else about everybody else's kids' injuries, you're trying to make me believe that y'all didn't discuss this? I'm pretty positive Kaylee being unrecognizable might have been a big, domino fall for the reason why the rest of them ended up being cremated. Honestly. Because there was a lot of other things in play there, but I also still go back to toxicology reasons. Because at first, I really was Steve was just really kind of controlling everything, but then it got to the university was really in more control. I just know what I was told is that they weren't really given a reason. They were just told it's strongly recommended to do the cremation. Strongly recommended was the wording. I don't believe for 1 second that they didn't sit down and discuss these things together at some point for as close as they were supposed to have been. I really just don't believe that.
We all got played.
I'm so sorry, Steve. I'm so sorry.
Well,
and I'm mostly
got played
just
part.
in shock that you did not receive all of these investigative documents before everybody else did. I'm so sorry.
You can tell people, dude. I want pressure on them, and eventually I want another family not to have to deal with this. And yeah, they're gonna learn. You wanna don't use my daughter's name anymore. Stop saying her name if you're gonna freaking treat me like you hate the media, but you treat the media the same as the victims. It's why do you hate the media? Because the media holds you accountable.
No, see, and that's also bullshit. For one, the media didn't get anything. As far as I know, everyone got the documents whenever we were told, hey, the website's up. we were told the family was going to get stuff before they did any of that. And that's what didn't happen. They didn't hand the media a bunch of different things of what we see on the website. Everyone got access at the same time. So I understand where he is like, we should have seen stuff before it was released. Okay, that was a promise. They broke that promise. That's fine. But when the hell has the media ever held anyone accountable? Even now, Little Miss Media is not even listening to a damn thing that he has to say with the questions that he has. She's just letting her microphone record everything so she can make money off the conversation. She is not paying attention. She doesn't care. So please, Steve, explain to me how the media is going to hold the university accountable, because I've yet to see it.
You guys are you're pathetic. You're so pathetic.
Oh gosh. Well, listen, can you please give Christy a
And
big
look,
hug for me?
Just to that. Oh gosh. She does not give a damn. She doesn't give a damn. Okay. Fake ass bullshit. It's really just gross. It's honestly disgusting. Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already.